Welcome everyone. This is the working group device management meeting for October 28th. My name is Patrick Ogi. I will be your host today because John, I think, can't make it. Remember, this meeting falls under the CNCF Code of Conduct, which means be excellent to each other. We didn't have anything on the agenda. I created a topic or an entry in our meeting notes. You can add things there or raise your hand if you want to discuss something. Perhaps before we start, we have a bit larger crowd here than we do have on the odd weeks on Wednesday mornings, my time. Is there anyone who is new to these meetings and perhaps wants to introduce themselves? Now would be a good time. And again, just raise your hand and I'll try to pay attention to the participants list. No? Okay. So the only topic that I have is a public service announcement. We are approaching code freeze for 135. It's actually less than 2 weeks away. If you are working on PRs, make sure that you address reviewer feedback promptly. Or if you have time and you are kind of familiar with DRA, look in our review column in our dashboard and help reviews PRs, because I myself have been still too busy with getting device stains working as intended for 135. I haven't had enough time to do code reviews myself. But if someone else does an LGDM first, then I'd be happy to approve and we can move forward. It'll certainly help. Yeah, Ale?
Hi, I didn't want to interrupt you. I just wanted to raise some thoughts regarding two things. First, the big feature, the extended resources feature for beta this release. I'm on the hook for the perf and scale side of things. It is moving a little bit slower than I anticipated. So maybe in this call or a smaller group, separate call, I'd like to have a conversation about the expectations there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let me make that a topic for, well, later. I'll just capture it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then another topic, again, falling under the same cap. There was an issue raised recently where we'd like to go through the code base and do an audit, especially related to what code is behind the feature flag and not. And I'm helping out. I volunteered to help out on that front. I'm putting together a document which collects all the cases where the feature is not protected by a gate. So I should have that end-to-end document ready today or tomorrow for folks to review. Again, I think because we are closer to the feature freeze, I would send out that document and maybe even set up a separate call if needed to go through all of that.
There is a call. Well, let's just perhaps move that up, and we can just keep talking about it. Leonard, we'll get to yours after we're done with the extended resources. So I haven't looked at the recent PRs. I know that there are quite a few still in flight for this new feature, extended resources, backed by DRA, where you'd use your traditional extended resource API in a pod and container. And what actually happens underneath is that allocation happens through DRA with a resource claim that gets created on the fly. We wanted to promote that to beta. I'm not sure at this point myself whether that is a realistic goal for 135, simply because too many things are still being worked on. We don't have enough time to get all of that merged, then do the due diligence of running benchmarks, verifying it manually, and all of that normally would be implied by moving to beta. So that perhaps touches on your first question about performance. Yeah, I don't know when we'll actually be able to do that. Right now, you might be able to prepare for it by ensuring that you have benchmarks, but the code itself isn't ready yet.
So yeah, there are two aspects to that. So the benchmark test we have in CI, which does the end-to-end testing from perf test repository. That PR is up and running, and we have started collecting numbers since 4 weeks, I think. So we have already prepared for that side of things. The only thing is it's a 100 node job right now. I think at some point we would like to promote that to larger scale, 2,500 and eventually 5,000 node. That is a little bit slower than my expectations. So I think from the preparation side of it, we already have all the manifests and plumbing put in place to run that 5,000 node job when we are ready.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds encouraging. I don't want to be too negative about it. Certainly, if people think that with a concerted push by everyone involved, we can get it done, that would be great. It's just me as architect or steering member who needs to be realistic and perhaps put on the brakes to not jeopardize the goal of having beta as the new GA, as it was called in OneCap. We want beta features to be rock solid. That's the expectation going forward, in particular when they are on by default, like this one will be. And
Okay.
well, yeah, the other thing is this audit code that came out of a comment from Kevin Clues, who looked at the scheduler plugin and basically tried to read the code and couldn't understand what it was doing. And that's not a good state for code to be in when it goes beta, because it should be something that other people can update, maintain, etc. So that's not just what you are doing with, well, which code actually is under FeatureGate. It actually is also, can we make that code more readable? Perhaps by renaming variables, going through it line by line, identifying code patterns that make it less readable. Or if that's not possible, adding comments. And all of that is, again, something that we should be doing before promoting to beta. Because afterwards, if we are restructuring it, we potentially break a beta feature, which is definitely not what we want.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm sorry, I put the words feature flags and behind feature flags in there because when I was going through it line by line, I identified some cases where the code should, I mean, for my liking, I would want the code to be protected by a feature gate, and it was not so. So at least I found instances
that isn't actually that doesn't concern me too much, because if we are aiming for beta, it will be on by default. It doesn't matter whether there is a feature gate. Perhaps the reason why you are seeing this sometimes is that if some pod got created this way, we have to handle it when the feature gate gets turned off. We can't just leave it in a broken state where an admin needs to clean up manually. That's the reason why sometimes in the resource claim controller, for example, it will try to deallocate potentially using code paths that normally would be under a feature gate. Because not having that code executed means that an admin needs to go in and do that work manually. The priority really needs to be assuming that all of this code runs. Is it in a good enough shape? That's the main priority, actually.
Okay, I see. I'm glad I brought this topic up because I was auditing it from a different perspective. This helps a lot. So yeah, let me go back and reprioritize. And again, I'll try to shoot today, end of day, or early tomorrow morning to get some kind of document out there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much a document will help. The simplest approach might really be to have a go at rewriting the code so that you or someone else thinks that it's more readable. I don't know I don't know how that would look like, but I think there's a shared concern that at the current state, it's somewhat hard to follow.
Yeah, well, my thinking was behind the document was that in order for us to even understand whether this is a good practice or not, I think I'll have to bring everyone on the same page of why it is problematic, and that's where it will help. And then follow up PR would just be a matter of rewriting. I think to me the important thing here is to bring folks on the same page that this is actually an improvement or not. That's where I was thinking a document might help. But I'm open to just creating a PR.
It might, well, a PR with lots of comments could mirror what you are going to write in the document, and it's sometimes easier to see in a diff on GitHub what you are talking about. I don't know how well that document a document would be readable. You probably would need to quote source code quite a lot to give the context of a comment, and that could be done also in GitHub. It's normally what we would have done in the initial PR, adding that code, but we at that point decided to just move on and revisit that topic later. And that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Lionel, do you want to move on with yours? I can open the doc, the issue again. So that's the resource claim status with standardized network interface data. So basically resource claim status with some opaque data in it. I've not looked at the GA criteria. I think we were fairly happy with it, but yeah, you're mentioning the validation admission policy. That was a new comment from SIGAuth. I'm not sure whether it was somewhere. Yeah, it was in this issue here. So the concern was that we are allowing a daemon set pod to update resource claim status, and we are trusting it to do that sensibly and not abuse that privilege. And I think the question now is how to lock that down so that it only does what it's supposed to do and only to the resource claims where it actually needs to make a modification. And I don't know what the answer is. I don't know whether that's considered a blocker.
Yeah, hey, this is Rita. On behalf of SIGAuth. Yeah, I mean, I think that was an okay design, but I think given that there's no enforcement, it's pretty bad to, in my opinion, to go stable knowing that there is no way to enforce this. And that it's something that I think we could try to do in tree, if possible. But obviously this is going to impact the graduation.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm not even sure what we'll do with the beta API, even if we do it in tree now. So yeah, I hear a concern. Do we have strong support for graduating to GA despite of that concern? I'm okay with pushing that out and discussing this further.
Okay, yeah, because I'm also wearing my SRC hat, right? I can also see this like a researcher digging through this and filing like this could be a potential CVE, right? And so again, just due diligence. Yeah.
For those who are not familiar with the acronym, that's the Security Response Committee. Yeah. We do have a bug bounty program for Kubernetes. and people are have an incentive to file issues against GA features, because I think that's where the bug bounty gets paid out, and it's of course
right.
more procedures. Yeah, and I've seen one of those reports for core DRA, which was, to be honest, a bit far-fetched, but someone did bother to create an issue for it and report it as with fairly alarming language as a major issue, which I think at the end of the day it wasn't. But yeah, I can see someone doing something similar here, where we are granting daemon set pods quite some permissions. So yeah, unless I hear otherwise, I think we should just postpone.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about how to fix this in core. And once I have sort of a good design, I'll put it in that issue, and then we can go from there. Again, just due diligence. I just don't feel comfortable graduating this thing knowing that, right? It's one thing we didn't think about it. It's another thing we already know, but still let it GA. I think that's just bad.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we have a decision. No objections. Lionel has been fairly quiet.
To me, it sounds good, so I'm fully fine with this.
Good.
And I will sync
Thanks.
with Antonio also about this.
Yeah. Okay, Marlo, you have another item. Upcoming meeting, native resources in DRA. So you do have a meeting set up that you want to
there's a meeting
advertise?
set up for the Tuesday post KubeCon, and we are having our initial, I guess, kickoff. Praveen, I, and John are speaking at the Maintainer Summit about this topic, but specific to CPU. But we're speaking with Francesca Romani, and they will also want to incorporate this into their work. So basically, what does that look like, and what are the considerations we have to have as we go forward, basically to allow more complex resource assignment and maybe stop pushing all the topology stuff into the kubelet.
Yeah. Okay. We do have a section up in the document, upcoming in-person opportunities, and that currently covers KubeCon North America. So you could add your talk there. I don't see it yet. That would be good.
Yeah, we can do that. It's at the Maintainer Summit, so I don't know how many people are going, but I can definitely add it.
Just add it, and people can pick if they
problem.
are there on Sunday. I will be, so I'll definitely join. Our working group device management update meeting also isn't there. I also need to add that one. So that is another opportunity.
Yeah, from what Francesca was saying, we were going to have to talk with architecture as well on this, which is why it's a separate meeting and not in here.
Yeah.
And Signode.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, KubeCon North America isn't that far away either. So see you all soon. I'm not even sure whether we have another meeting before. Yes, I think we do. Yeah.
Are we doing a meetup for this group there, or are we just find each other at the conference?
I think we have submitted something for the Maintainer Summit, if I remember correctly, and I think it was accepted, but I need to double check with Kevin. So that would be a meetup style during the Maintainer Summit. And if we are not seeing each other, then the working group device management meeting and the hallway track after that. Okay, I see Jack posted in chat that we actually, well, is it actually? Well, yeah, but we are having.
Someone should double check my work. I just manually looked at the calendar. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll ask if it's during KubeCon. We'll definitely not have an online meeting. John and I will be both at the conference and be fairly busy, I suppose. So, and Kevin also. So no host during KubeCon. Okay. that's all, then we can be done quickly and get back to our work for Kubernetes 135. Okay, thanks everyone, and see you.
Patrick.
Bye.